5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, guys? It is finally that time. It is time for the first episode. I'm going to give you guys a little background about me quick. My name is Kiki. This has been a dream of mine for many years now. I actually just found a tweet that I made back in 2019 about how I wanted to do a wrestling podcast, and here we are. So, basically, what I want to do is talk all things wrestling with the wrestling community. I feel like some people, closet it a little too much because it's corny or whatever, but, you gotta have an outlet and, friends talk to about that. So, hopefully this can be that for them. Also, for me, when, things were hard at home or I was just struggling really bad with my depression, I always had wrestling. So I hope that this podcast, I can give somebody who's struggling the distraction that they need, and maybe a smile while I'm at it. Alright, so, the Start Cam Heat. Where the takes are hot, the filter is gone, pipe bombs might get dropped, and nothing in wrestling is safe. So, let's get into the past weekend and catch up on the Heat. So, we had 4 pay-per-views this week. My favorite, personally, was Slammiversary, but close second was Forbidden Door. That one almost took it over. Least favorite, Night of Champions. So, Night of Champions, let's get into that one first, because it was the first one on. I'm giving that 3 stars and a C grade. The best match, in my opinion, was the cage match between Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. That one's definitely match of the night. Every wrestling fan loves a good weapon element, right? I think from the entrances, we knew that was going to be a big player in it. The cage element, that always makes for a banger. Those 2 guys gave their all in that match, and both of them are definitely banged up. I mean, we saw Braun a couple of weeks ago walking with crutches, I think. And then Seth, his body is just through the ringer of all the fucking years that he's been, wrestling and shit. No, but I really like that match. I think they did it justice, and it put a good end to the feud, hopefully. I mean, WWE likes to drag out the feuds, but it does seem like for now, it is at least to rest. Braun Breaker also, they need to let him win more. They push him as this monstrous guy, and, he loses all the big ones. I don't know. The triple threat one, Sami Zayn, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, that also heavily caught me off guard. The way I thought it was going to go down was I thought that Cody was going to pin Sami to set up for Gunther saying that Sami cost him and it was always his fault. That obviously was flip-flopped. I am glad, however, there was a title change because although I love Cody, we needed something else. It's very, very bland over on the SmackDown side. Sami deserves his story. He deserves his flowers. I don't believe that this was the right time for him to get that title. I believe that we all know it's going to be a transitional period, and I think that after all, this whole story that they made up for him and all the years that he's been chasing this title, I think he deserves more than for it to just be a quick reign. Going back in the matches, Oba versus Jey Uso. Missed opportunity. I feel like setting the Brock Lesnar matchup for SummerSlam, I feel like that should have happened Night of Champions, no doubt in my mind. You have a big pay-per-view. You are in Saudi Arabia. I don't feel like that was supposed to be a Monday Night Raw moment. Although that segment was very good and very fun to watch, I feel like it was a missed opportunity at Night of Champions. I got a bold take for you guys. Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. No hate, but they had no business being in a singles match. Unfiltered, am I right? So, bear with me. Don't cancel me yet. They're good when they face, like, other veterans and stuff who, like, can help them through the match. But they're very sloppy on their own. So, like, putting two girls in it who are, trying to figure out their footing and, not be so sloppy or botchy, I feel like it was a risk with not really a reward at the end of it, putting them in a match together. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it was a risk, again, with no reward. They both have great qualities and potential. And like I said, can put on great matches with veterans, but I don't know. I hope they get away from that one. Moving on to Slammiversary. Like I said, that was my favorite of the weekend. I am going to give that 4.5 stars and a A- grade. Best matches in my opinion, was Moose versus Eddie Edwards. That was great storytelling and the right amount of violence, I guess you could say. It was well put together. Not too much, not too little. I will say you could fully see Eddie Edwards spit out his blood packet, though. And a side note that I don't know if any of you knew, if any of you guys know who Gideon is, very big YouTuber, used to be a Twitch streamer. I watch his content personally. But I did not know that Moose was related to Gideon. It was interesting. Another great match that was had at Slammiversary was the ladder tag match. Very, very good. The ladder with barbed wire. I don't know how you couldn't like that as a wrestling fan. You got a ladder, you got barbed wire. I mean, who's not going to love that? Someone's going to get hurt, and it's going to be fun to watch. And then I don't remember if it was Bronson or Dutch that got put on the ladder, the barbed wire ladder, and then started convulsing like Devon. I thought that was a good homage. Table spots are always elite. That was a good one. And a thought that came to my mind while I was watching was, do you guys think that Jeff Hardy climbs a ladder at home like he does in a ladder match, like just zipping right on up it? Because in the beginning of the match, he ran up the ladder, and that thought just like ran through my head. And it's a valid question that I would love to know the answer to. Let me know in the comments what you think. But also, how the hell is he still fucking swantoning off ladders? That's insane to me. God bless him, because I'm 29 years old and I ain't doing nothing comparative to that. Now, let's just touch on what I think the worst match was. Zaya Brookside versus Lee, I think, was the worst of the night. It wasn't bad. It didn't hit the story quite like it should have. And I know that they're going to continue it, I think, as of recording tonight. So, I mean, we'll see more. I just feel like it could have done more. Big congrats to Amazing Red. Well deserved. And Conan. That man has been going through the ringer with his health this past year and a half, I don't know. But, hopefully this will, uplift his spirits and put a smile on his face, but he should be put into a Hall of Fame anywhere in wrestling. He has done so much for the business, and very happy for him. He definitely deserves this. Kazarian. I don't know how old he is, but he's been wrestling for TNA since basically they started. Obviously, he's gone other places too, but the fact that he's still doing Ultimate X matches is insane. Absolutely timeless. The Hardys, timeless. I'll get to them in a little bit, but Cope and Cage, timeless. It's just very, very insane to me. Alright. Now let's skip over to Forbidden Door. That pay-per-view was so goddamn long. I did not know if I was going to make it to the last one. But holy shit, am I glad that I did. Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland has to be, if not number 1 match of the year, it's got to be top 5. I am giving the pay-per-view 4 stars and a B grade. So let's just get into the Will Ospreay versus Swerve match. Ospreay's always been good. We all know that. He has some haters that say that he doesn't sell. I think he did a fucking great job of selling that night. He sure did. That match was off the charts, and I think Swerve has really proven how good he is compared to what he was doing in WWE with Hit Row and shit. It's night and day. It's like 2 totally different people. And he put on that extra muscle. Man, he's hopefully about to start getting opportunities that he deserves, because he is good. He is really fucking good. A match that I think is not going to be spoke about enough is the Young Bucks or Sky vs. Unbound Company. Anytime the Young Bucks, that's what I get for trying to talk fast. Bear with me. This is the first podcast, so, it's going to be some errors. So I'm going to try to clean them up, but bear with me. So, like I was saying, the match that I do not think is going to be talked about enough is the Young Bucks match. Anytime that they are in the ring, it's fast, it's exciting. Takagi, being the bronze of the match, also brought a nice level out to it. The avalanche suplex to the outside, that was gnarly. I absolutely loved that, and I'm glad that Mystico didn't, break a pinky and wasn't trying to stop fighting. I'm just kidding, honestly. I'm very glad that everyone's okay after that spot, because that could have done damage. It was a very fun match to watch. Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. was also great. I'll touch on that one quickly. Omega's chop should be illegal. Them shits are loud. Now, I can't say any match was bad, but if I had to choose, Pac versus Umingo lacked the storytelling. And I know he was supposed to face Gabe Kidd. I don't know how many people know that. He was supposed to... Umingo, speaking. He was supposed to be facing Gabe Kidd. And he ended up having an injury. I don't remember. It might have been his knee or his shoulder. And he was dealing with visa issues. So, it had to get changed rather quickly. So, they couldn't really do the storytelling on that, but again, great match, but was just lacking something. So, therefore, that one gets the worst match of that pay-per-view. Great American Bash, I still have not had a chance to watch. I have seen what you guys are saying online. Sounds like something I definitely got to check out. I don't watch NXT as much as I should, but that's going to be changing with me doing this podcast, so I will go back and watch it this week. Let me get into Raw a little bit. I'm going to give that 3.5 stars and a B- grade. It actually wasn't a bad Raw. And the Pyro guy Let's give him a quick round of applause. He was spot on for the pyro for Brock. I mean, usually it's like pretty off, but did good. Brock bothered me in his promo because he said that he doesn't watch WWE, and I know he's like probably being honest, but playing a part too. I just feel like in my mind that kind of shows that he doesn't give a fuck about pretty much anything except money, and I just think that line sucked. The rest of it, though, as he so hilariously pointed out, was a great promo from him for once. I mean, he didn't need Paul Heyman for basically anything, which was great. It was nice to see Brock like fully immersed in being himself and having fun and cutting a very good promo. Still fuck him, though. He really seems to love working with Oba. So it tells you what kind of a talent Oba must be. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be Brock's last feud. So that speaks very big volumes about what he feels can come from Oba in his career. Now, Oba giving up his SummerSlam Championship match makes King of the Ring kind of pointless. I get why he won, like, to push him as the next big thing. No pun intended there. But if he was just going to give up the reward, I feel like, why was he in it? What was he in it for? Someone else could have had that opportunity, and they still could have pushed him in a different way to get him to this SummerSlam match with Brock. It was just another waste of space, basically, on a big pay-per-view that's leading up, not a big pay-per-view, but a transitional pay-per-view that's leading to a big pay-per-view to get those storylines all together. I don't know, it just waste of it for me. I don't know if y'all saw, but DoorDash had an advertisement on Netflix with Dom about the chicken tendies. Yo, the way I cackled when he, like a fucking child, was like, my chicken tendies! Yeah, that was a good one. Off script for a minute, though, that dude has such personality. When he first started back in, the COVID days, I think it was 2020, I think, he was dry as a fucking wall. He had absolutely no personality whatsoever. So honestly, I didn't really find very much hope, because if you look at his dad doesn't really do promo work either. I love me some Rey Mysterio, but I'm going to get into Rey Mysterio in a little bit too. I was going to do it right there, but there were some things that happened in between that I'll touch quickly on first. What was that Paul Heyman and Theory segment? What do we think's happening there? Because my mind's going right to the bloodline. I think he's going to make up with Roman and kiss Roman's ass. And I think we're going to have a Wiseman again. And I also think that the Vision, with all the injuries, is falling completely apart. Ooh, I just thought of something. I saw that Bronson Reed might be coming back, right? Samoan. Paul Heyman. Being Weird the Theory. What if he takes Bronson Reed, gets Bronson to make up with Roman Reigns, and we add him to the bloodline? I mean, they have non-family members. They had Sami Zayn's ginger ass, for Christ's sake. That would be kind of probably cool to watch. I don't know. Just a thought that just came to me. Alright. Now we're going to jump over to Rey Mysterio, like I was just talking about. Oh, by the way, to clarify to everybody, I am also a ginger. It was no hate on gingers. I was just saying. Alright. Rey Mysterio. Where the hell did his pyro go? So maybe I gotta backtrack on my props to the pyro guy earlier, because where was Rey's pyro? Or has that, like, not been there and I just haven't noticed? Disappointing, because I love pyro. I love all pyro. Rey is also timeless. I mean, I was talking about Kaz, the Hardys, Cope and Cage earlier being timeless. I should add nickname it to that. Formerly known as Dolph Ziggler. But he still moves like he's in his 30s. And he's in his 50s. I swear, if I could just get out of bed as well as these guys can put on a show, that'd be great. I love him bringing back the old gear, though, with the baggy pants and the, mid-2000s masks. It's fun to see. And I think it's like because his career's coming to an end. I mean, he's pretty much said that when, Dom seems ready, then he's gonna go. Dom seems ready, and I guess his daughter's getting into the business, so maybe he's, trying to wait it out for that, but his career is coming, unfortunately, to an end shortly. So I think he might be giving us a little bit of nostalgia, to help us through it, I guess. I'm gonna be sad as fuck when he retires. Cena made me cry. That one sucked. I mean, they all suck, honestly. I don't care if I like you while you're wrestling, because I did not like Cena as a wrestler. I mean, I did, I just didn't. But, end of an era type shit, Anyways, back to the Rey Mysterio, Ethan Page match. Ethan Page will be a big star, sooner or later. He has top-tier charisma, and he backs it up. He's gonna be something. I'm willing to say in less than a year. I hope that they honestly put him, with the U.S. or an Intercontinental title soon. Because he can do something fun with it. Now, what exactly are we doing with Joe Hendry? I don't really understand. Because TNA, obviously, World Heavyweight Champion, big primetime player on it. NXT, same deal. And then we move him to the roster, the main roster, and now it's like he's getting lost in the shuffle, like many, unfortunately, succumb to. So, what are we doing with him? Just gonna make him a circus act, and then after WrestleMania, good luck in your future endeavors? They better not, because he is a talent that they should not drop the ball with. I mean, they already dropped the ball with, and I'll get into that later. Let's give another round of applause to LA Knight, because he did not have as I'm having one right now, a botch that I saw. Pretty impressive. Not even on the ropes. He did the rope spot. He didn't fall off. Very, very impressive stuff. I shouldn't even talk shit, though, because like I said, I can barely get out of bed in the morning, Jay was also fun to listen to on commentary. Which, I don't think he was bad at promo stuff until, his World Heavyweight title run. I don't know if he got, nervous because he had the belt and the whole company on his back, or what, but, him on commentary reminded me of, the old Jay in the promos, and it was fun to listen to. Love to hear it. I'm also glad that Solo Sikoa is away from the MFTs. I hope they do something with themselves and don't, lose their jobs, because they are talented, those two. But for Solo, he seems to be doing a little babyface work over here. And we haven't had that from him since he started here. It's been years. And it's a story with the Bloodline again, which I know, we've seen all this Bloodline shit for years. But seeing him do a babyface work with them, Could be interesting. It's fun to watch him, like, bring out his actual personality. Because that motherfucker is funny. Especially at live events. Like, if you look up his funny moments on YouTube, you will not be disappointed. Nick Aldis. I've been saying it since I brought him in. I did not expect him to be a GM for this long. Why is he not wrestling? He's about to. He's about to. For those of you who don't know, he used to be called Magnus in TNA. Nick Aldis in the NWA. So talented. Unbelievably talented wrestler. And now, it sounds like we're finally going to get that, and it's going to be with Gunther. Unfucking real. Dream match, in my opinion. I think that one's going to be one for the ages. I'm seeing a lot of people saying it's going to be a one-off, and I don't like that. But, I mean, Aldis is up there. He also hasn't been in the ring since he's been in WWE, I don't believe, unless he, like, got the okay to go somewhere for a quick couple of matches, but I don't believe so. So we'll see. I hope he gets more than one, though. And shows WWE that he can still hang with them, because I'm sure he can. Chad Gable is another person, just like Ethan Page, that deserves a title run. Again, maybe a U.S. Intercontinental deal. I feel like he makes a better heel, but it's fun to watch him, like, switch back to the babyface and, you know, try to make that work. I mean, he was a heel for a really long time, too, so it'd be fun to see, you know, what goes on with that. Danhausen is one of the hottest in WWE right now. I am a Fanhausen. Anytime he's on TV, I am so locked in. And I feel like a lot of people are, especially kids. I can't even imagine how the kids are with him. But I'm glad that he's getting this opportunity, because back in AEW, he did not. And that was a damn shame. So I'm glad that he's, you know, getting the TV time that he deserves now. Seth versus Roman. My, how did we get here again? How many times are we going to see this? It's always a banger, so, like, I'm not that mad about it. But how many times, though? How many goddamn times are we going to see it? Seth might be onto something when he said we don't know how many more we'll get to do. Between Roman doing Hollywood, Seth's body. It's sure to be another banger. But I just honestly hope that it's done after. And that's going to catch me some heat. But that's what I'm here for. Every week on these podcasts, I am going to be doing something called Pipe Bomb of the Week. If you can't tell, I'm a big CM Punk fan. I think WWE needs to do... I promise I'm not a WWE hater. It probably sounds like I am. That is the one that I watch the most. So I have the most opinion about. But now I'm going to be watching all of them a lot more. So bear with me, please. WWE needs to do a few things different. TNA and AEW did the pre-shows on their pay-per-views. And they did pre-show matches. And the pre-show matches were good enough to be on the main card. So, with WWE, I just, like, they do the 2-hour pre-shows, and I wish that they would bring back 1 or 2 matches. Like, substantial ones, too, not, like, things that you'd see over on the main event. I also think that WWE needs to make their matches a little bit longer. Not like AEW long, but like an in-between. I'm big on telling stories in the ring, if you can't tell by how I was talking earlier about, like, it wasn't enough, it was missing something, there's something to the story. So, I'm big on telling the stories in the ring. You can promo package all you want, but it means nothing when you can't fully tell it in the ring. And AEW listened to the East Coast viewers. about how goddamn long that pay-per-view was. Because over here, it was like 1 o'clock that it got over, and it started at 7 with the pre-show. So, next pay-per-view that they have is going to start an hour earlier, so it doesn't run too late. Big props on them for that. I am grateful. Like I said earlier, congrats to Amazing Red and Conan. It's well-deserved. AEW fans, do not think that I forgot to say, welcome back, Jay White. That was a loud-ass pop, and it was really fun to watch. He looked super happy. All the guys that were up on the ramp with him, they seemed happier than him. It was really cool. Jesus, I'm so sorry. Mustafa Ali, Elijah, and Nick Namath showed WWE what they dropped the ball on. I mean, those guys can put on a show anywhere that they're at, and they showed them really quick. Again, I'll say, my main watch is WWE. That is probably why I'm a hard critic on everything. But give me your opinions on the pay-per-views from this week. Please be patient on the process. I am still figuring everything out, like the logistics and everything. But I've been talking about dropping the podcast, so I just wanted to give you guys one episode. I'm not sure if this is the length that they'll normally be, if this is the structure that I'll normally do. But, again, I just wanted to give you guys something. I'm going to figure out what I can do better. If you have any ideas of what I can do better or what I shouldn't do, anything, drop it down below, message me. I am open to all criticism. And that is all for this week for Hardcam Heat. Anything, drop it down below. I am open to all criticism. I welcome it. I appreciate it. I also just got breaking news. I got it from Sean Rossap, I believe. Yep. That's an unfortunate one. Sean Rossap, Fightful, has tweeted out that TNA has come to terms with Eric Young. That is unfortunate. I hope he ends up somewhere, or if it's the end of his career, one hell of a career. But that's it for this week for Hardcam Heat. If you got something to say about it, good. That means I did my job. I'll catch you next time. Till then, let's catch some heat.